Dear students, welcome to this tutorial. At the UG and PG level for commerce students, there is a course named Marketing Management, which is considered to be a very essential course to be studied by the commerce management and business students. And in this marketing management course, one module is there on the relevance of product pricing or service pricing in marketing. As you all know, marketing in modern terms is a process which begins before production and continues after sales. Before production, in the sense that the marketer has to undergo a very detailed research work among the customers and market, to identify the nature of market and also the taste, preferences, needs, wants, etc. of the customers. Then only he is in a position to design his product which is best suited and best to reach the expectations of the consumers. And even after sales, he has to give certain services like warranty services, guarantee services, after sales services, etc. Then only he is in a position to survive in the market with his own product or service. And in between this, he has to design his product, he has to plan and develop his product, he has to give a good name for his product, he has to give a good brand name, especially brand name and brand mark or trademark to his product. He has to give a good package for his products, and he has to price his product. He has to select the best channel through which the product is to be reached in the hands of the consumers. And also he has to design in what way the communication on the details of the product is to be undertaken, that is how the product is to be promoted. So he has to undergo so many activities, and among these, one major activity to be performed by the marketer is considered to be pricing of the product. He is designed and desired to target the market. And product pricing is relevant because it is a price that actually first attract a person towards a product. Definitely, the product quality is one of the most important factor, but the quality of the product also perceived by the consumers through the price of that particular product. In that sense, we can say that the price is the most significant element in marketing, and pricing is the most essential activity to be performed by the marketer in a very serious way. So in this module, we should focus on the various aspects which are to be at the starting point to be learned by the commerce students. So let us see what are the contents of this particular session. The contents: 1. Meaning and definition of price. Secondly, objectives of pricing. And thirdly, the factors affecting or governing pricing decisions of a business organization. So only these three aspects are to be covered in this particular tutorial session. So first of all, meaning of price. And as you know, price in simple terms is the money value of the goods and the services. So what a good or a product or a service represented by the money value, that can be understood as the price of that particular product. And the most commonly used meaning of price is that is the exchange value of a product or service in terms of money. So the product is to be exchanged from the seller to the buyer, and for the benefit derived out of the product or for the exchange of the product, the buyer had to pay something in terms of money according to the value he is expected or he is gained from the product. So in that sense, you can say that price is the exchange value of a product or service in terms of money, which is fixed by the seller and which is sacrificed by the buyer. And as far as seller is concerned, the price is the source of revenue. because the cost and expenses incurred for the production and distribution of a product or service is actually retrieved by a businessman through the selling of the product, and through the sales means by collecting the cash or price of the product through the selling. So in that sense, you can say that to the seller, price is the source of revenue. And at the other end, to the buyer, price is the sacrifice of his purchasing power. Because the buyer has to pay from his own savings. So price is actually the sacrifice of the purchasing power of the buyer. So in both the ends, at the one end the seller, it is a revenue. At the other end, it is a customer. It is an expenditure, mode of expenditure, and it is the sacrifice of his purchasing power. And in marketing, you already learned marketing mix. And I can see that marketing mix is the marketing strategy adopted by the modern marketer. And it includes so many elements, and among them, the four most important elements are termed as 4Ps as product, price, place, and promotion. And price is one among the most significant element in the major elements of marketing mix. And it is the only element in the marketing mix that produces income or revenue. So as compared to all other elements of marketing mix like product, place or physical distribution and promotion, you can see that price is the only element in that marketing mix that generates revenue to the businessman. All other aspects in this P, that is product, place, promotion, are actually the cost elements. Price is the only element that generates or that produces or gains revenue to the business. Okay, then pricing is the activity or the sum total of all the activities which are connected with fixing or determining the price of a product by the seller or by the marketer or by the businessman can be rightly regarded as pricing. So pricing is the process whereby a business sets the price at which it will sell its products and services in the market. Okay, so this is about a very simple view on what is about the meaning of price and pricing. So now let us see a very simple definition on price. So according to Philip Kotler and Armstrong, so Philip Kotler is the authority, is the very main authority in marketing, and he studied all the aspects of marketing, and he has his own opinion on every activity and every aspects of marketing. And he also studied well about the pricing activity to be performed by the marketer, and he provided a very simple and humble definition of marketing. And according to Kotler and Armstrong, price is the amount of money charged for a product or service, the sum of all the value that customers give up in order to gain the benefit of having or using a product or service. So it is the amount of money charged for a product or service. So in order to produce, in order to market, in order to take the product to the market, the producer or the marketer has to incur or expend so many ways of expenditure. So it is the amount of money charged for a product or service, or the sum of all the values that customers give up in order to gain the benefit of having and using a product or service. So two aspects are there. The amount of money charged for a product or service by the seller, or the sum of all the values that customers give up in order to gain the benefit of having or using a product or service, can be rightly regarded as price according to the viewpoint put forward by Philip Kotler and Armstrong. So let us see once more this definition as a whole. According to Kotler and Armstrong, price is the amount of money charged for a product or service, or the sum of all the value that customers give up in order to gain the benefit or having or using a product or service. So according to this definition, all the expenditure incurred by a person to produce and distribute a product in the market can be regard to as price in the sense that you should price the product by taking consideration of all those expenditures. And on the other side, it is the sacrifice of purchasing power on the part of the customers, because he is ready to pay something to the businessman for the product, because he has to gain an expected benefit or advantage through the possession and use of that particular product. Okay, so in two ways we can identify what is actually price. So this is taken into consideration by Philip Kotler and Armstrong while giving this definition. The next we can see what are pricing objectives. So you can see that pricing is a major activity of the organization. So definitely the organization should take into consideration what should be the consequence after pricing of the product. So before taking an ultimate decision about pricing, the organization should be borne in mind what are the objectives to be gained through this pricing. Definitely so many objectives may be there. Definitely the first and the foremost objectives may be maximization of sales and profits, maximization of market share, getting survival in the market, or penetrating or skimming the market through the pricing strategies, or maintaining the quality of the product in parity with the pricing, etc. So let us see, or let us have a discussion on this in detail. The first objective behind pricing may be survival of the product and business in the market. You can see that a product will be survived in the market only when it is accepted by the customers. So the present customer should be the remain for demand for the product in future, and prospective customer should also come by attracting the product. And price is the element through which it is possible for the prospective customers to attract the product, because the price is an attractive point. If the price is favorable or price is considered to be fair by the public, then they will ready to buy the product by paying a price at their satisfactory level. Okay, so one of the objectives of pricing is to survive in the market through a good price which is acceptable for the customers, or which is according to the expectations of the consumers or public. One. Second one is maximizing the current profit. You can see that pricing generally has a short-term objective, because it is not possible in the most competitive today's market to fix price by keeping in mind a long-term maximization of profit, etc. So current profitability, that is a short-term profitability of the businessman, can be maximized by the process of pricing, because by adding a certain percentage along with the cost of the product, it is possible to get a return. Okay, or by adding along with the product a target of rate of return, it is possible to get a return. So if the market is favorable, then it is possible for the businessman to fix a price that will give him a margin of profit. So profit maximization, that is sales price which includes a profit concept, is to be considered by the businessman while fixing the prices. So maximizing profit of the business is another important objective behind the pricing policy. Then another important one is maximization of market share. So the business objective of profit maximization can be gained only through maximization of sales and getting maximum or a high market share in the business environment. So you can see that maximization of sales can be possible only when the product is accepted by the consumers and the price is one of the most important element. Okay. So while fixing the price, the businessman has to take into consideration this point. That is, sales and market is to be maximized, share is to be maximized. Okay, so the objective behind this pricing policy is to maximize or hiring the market share for the product or service. Then another important one is market skimming. You can see that the price should be sufficient to get hiring the prestige of the business, and also hiring the demand for the product on qualitative terms. If a price is fixed at a high level as compared to other substitute products, then there will be a mindset among the public that this product is superior than other products. So they will be ready to purchase that. So in that sense, in order to get skimming features in the market, the pricing can be fixed. So while fixing the price or determining the price, the market skimming characteristic is to be borne in mind by the businessmen. So market skimming, that is getting a higher market share or getting a higher price for the product, is considered to be another important objective as far as pricing is concerned. Then product quality leadership. Product quality leadership. So quality, the businessman could not compromise the quality at all. So price has a direct impact on the quality also, or the price is very much influenced by the quality of the product. So the businessman, while fixing price, should decide should get into consideration the quality standard of the product. Otherwise, the price fixed may be a wrong decision as far as on the part of the business is concerned. So another important objective behind the fixation of price is to get product quality leadership in the market. You can see so many marketers use this technique. So through the price, they are in a position to get quality leadership, service or product quality leadership in the market. Okay, so this is a very good objective. So through this definition, you can see that while fixing the price, the objectives is to be set by the business organization or the marketer, and the general or normal objectives may be of to maximizing profit, to get survival in the market, to increase the market share, to get market skimming, and to get a product quality leadership in the market, or to get growth of business, or to get a targeted rate of return, or to parity with, or to let's say compete over the competitors policies, etc. So like so many objectives are there as far as pricing is concerned. Okay, then now let us see what are the factors that should be considered by the marketer while fixing the price of the product, or factors governing prices and pricing decision of a business organization. Okay, so while looking into these factors, according to their nature of influence or from where this actually come, we can divide into two. One is internal factors and the other one is external factors. So as the name signifies, internal factors are those factors which come within the organization or within the internal environment of the business, and external factors come from outside. So those factors which influence the pricing decision of a business from outside or external environment can be rightly regarded as the external factors, and those factors which are coming from the internal environment of the business and which influence the pricing decision can be referred to as internal factors. So first we can see what are the internal factors affecting pricing. So we could see so many points, and a major 6 points I would like to mention here. One is cost of the product. You can see that this is a basic factor that determines the pricing of a product or service. Not to produce a product, the producer will incur so many costs like cost of raw material, cost of labor, other expenses, then expense in the factory, expense in the office, expense relating to selling, distribution, etc. So the sum total of all this cost is the cost of production, sell of the product, and this total cost is to be considered. That may be fixed and variable, whatever be that. So the total cost is to be considered by the businessman while fixing the price. So one of the most significant factors that affect the pricing decision of a businessman is cost of the product. Second one is objective. We already saw so many objectives like survival, growth, market share increase, quality, etc. So all these objectives are having different impact on pricing. Okay, for example, in the skimming, market skimming can see that the price should be at the highest level. In order to increase the market share, the businessman has to give the product at a price which is acceptable by the consumers. That may be a lower price. Okay, then in order to get a win over the competitors, the marketer has to fix a price that may be less than or in accordance with what the competitors charged. So likewise, the objectives of the business and the objectives of pricing is another important factor that determine that influence the pricing strategy of a business organization. The next one is organizational factors. So apart from these certain organizational mechanisms, for example, the purchasing policy of the business, the labor policy of the business, the authority, hierarchy, levels of the business, the technique of the business adopted in order to boost the product in the market, the promotion measures adopted by the business. So like so many organizational factors will be there, or organizational mechanism will be there within the business, and all these mechanism or factors definitely have an influence on the pricing decision of the marketer. So the marketer should take into consideration such organizational factors while deciding the price of his product. Then another important one is marketing mix. Marketing mix we already learned, that is it includes mainly four major elements like product price, physical distribution, and also promotional communication, and about so many other like pace, packaging, etc. Okay, great. And you can see that if a change is there in any one of these elements, that change should be definitely the price of the product. That is, I mean, whenever a change in product is there, that will influence the price of the product. Whenever a change in physical distribution selection is there, that will rightly or direct impact on the price of the product. Whenever there is a change in promotion or communication measure adopted, that will also affect the pricing decision. Okay, so the marketing mix elements is another important factor that will determine the pricing policy or pricing decision of a business organization. Then product differentiation. So while observing the pricing strategy on the part of certain business organization, you can see that one is the fixing a price in a certain way is to differentiate in the market. You can see that price differentiation or price discrimination is taken as one of the strategy by most of the businessmen today. That is, the same product is marketed at different markets, that may be different places or at different times at different prices that may be adopted. And in certain cases, there may be trading up strategy, trading down strategy of the same product by the marketer. In trading up, the quality of the product will be improved so that it can be priced at the high level. That's a high price can be charged on the product. In trading down, the quality of the product is slightly deteriorated. So naturally, it is possible for the businessman to give or offer that product at a lower price. Okay, so such a strategy may be adopted. So the product differentiation is another important factor to be considered while fixing the price of a product. Then another one is product life cycle. You learned that every product has a life cycle, like human beings. There is an introduction, say a product is to be introduced first of all in the market. Then it will grow in the market in the next stage. Then it will have the maximum sales, that is maturity level it will reach. And saturation will be there, and after that there may be declining the demand for the product, and at last the product may be thrown out or abandoned from the market. So such a life cycle is there as far as the product is concerned. Okay, so each of these stages in the life cycle, the pricing strategy adopted by the business definitely will be different. During the introduction stage, a pricing strategy will be adopted, and that may not be continued in growth stage, and that may not be there at the declining stage. Okay, so generally the businessman has to fix a higher price at the introduction stage or lower price at the introduction stage. In the growth stage, if he fixed a higher price at the introduction stage, the growth stage he has to reduce the price to a certain extent. And if he fixed a lower price at the introduction stage, then he can little higher the price at the growth stage. Okay, so likewise. And during abandonment stage or during declining stage, he can even adopt the policy of break-even pricing, etc. That is no profit, no loss policy, etc. And also marginal cost pricing, etc. can be adopted. So the product life cycle is also a most important factor that influence the pricing decision of a business organization. Okay, so these are, that is, cost objectives of the business or pricing, organizational factors, marketing mix, product differentiation, product life cycle, etc. are the internal factors that influence or govern the pricing decisions of a business organization. Okay, then now let us see what are the external factors. External factors, 5 factors I would like to mention here. One is demand for the product. So demand is one of the determining factor of the price and decision of a business. You know already. There's an inverse relation between demand and price, but in certain cases there may be a positive correlation between demand and price, etc. And if the demand for the product is inelastic in the market, then it is better for the marketer to fix a higher price, because whatever be the change in price, that is whether the price is price is lowering or price is hiring, that may not influence the demand for the product. In such a case, that is if the demand is inelastic, then he can determine a fixed price for the product, that is a higher price for the product. At the same time, if the demand for the product is elastic, that is there is flexibility of demand according to price, then actually he can fix price at a lower level, because when the price is lower, the demand will be at the high. Okay, more demand will be there for the product. So, such a strategy can be adopted. So demand for the product, that is present and the proposed demand for the product, is to be considered by the marketer while fixing the price of his product or service. Okay. Then second one is competition. You can see that today most of the market is perfectly competitive. That is, a large number of substitute products are available. A large number of competitive firms are ready with the products at different grades and qualities, and also the extent of competition is high in the market. So if such a situation is there, that is competition is there, many substitutes are available, extent of competition is high, and the competitors price of the competitor is in such a level, then the businessman has to take into consideration all this. So he has to undertake the going rate pricing policy, or he has to undertake competitive parity pricing policy, etc. So he has the meaning that he has to look what the competitor is doing in the pricing area of his strategy. He is not in a position to isolate from the market, means isolate from the competitor with his own move, because the competitor's pricing, his substitute, etc. have a great influence on the price of the product of this particular marketer. Okay, so competition is an important external factor that influence the price of the product. Then another one is distribution channels. You can see that as far as the manufacturer and distribution channels, as middlemen are concerned, always there will be controversy. Conflict will be there, because the manufacturer, while selecting a middleman, will insist to the middleman that he has to sell his product at a certain price, that is by adding a minimum market value. But the middleman may not be always ready to charge that minimum market value with the products, because that may hamper his profitability. So there will be conflict between the manufacturer and the middleman. And also, if the length of the marketing channel is more, that is there is like wholesalers, retailers, etc., long distribution channel, in such a case, the price of the product is to be fixed at a high, because the manufacturer will incur additional cost. When the length is increased, cost also increased. At the same time, if there is direct selling, etc., that is the length of a channel is very narrow or very short. In such a case, the businessman has to price at a lower level, because the cost is also lower. So distribution channel is another important factor to be considered by the marketer while fixing the price of the product. The next one is general economic conditions, that is inflation, depression, etc. You can see that during inflationary period, the price of all the inputs will be higher. So naturally, the businessman has to fix a high price of the product during inflationary period. At the same time, during depression period or deflation period, he is forced to lower the price of the product, because only when the product is available at a normal price or a reduced price, the public is ready to accept that particular product, because public is having lacking of money in their hand during deflation period or depression period. So that general marketing conditions, changes in the marketing conditions must be considered before deciding the pricing policy of the business. And one more point I would like to mention, that is the government policy. You can see that the government has a definite and specific policy regarding business. And there's a taxation policy of the government, trade policies by the government, economic policy provided by the government, business, how many business policies are there, consumer protection policies are there. So all these policies and laws of the government should be considered while deciding the price of the product. The government may fix prices of certain controlled products as a law. So the businessman has to fix the price at the low rate. Otherwise, it may be against the government policy. Okay, so government instructions on the price of the products through various policies, rules, and laws are to be strictly followed by the businessman while fixing the price. So pricing decision is also affected by the external factor, that is government factor. So these are some of the external factors that have an impact on the pricing policy or pricing decision of a business. Okay. So with this, I would like to conclude this module. This is only on certain simple aspects on price and pricing, meaning of price, the definition of price, objectives of price, then also the factors affecting price, including internal factors and the external factors. I hope you have an idea about the basic or introductory part, what was actually discussed by me in this tutorial session. Thank you.